This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
That's number one. You kind of reset me.
Painful, tender to the touch. May also
Same shoulder length, and the other.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Real Health Podcast with Brandy and Amir. I am Dr. Amir Rashidian, a chiropractor. Brandy Rashidian, my beautiful co-host and the brains behind the show. And Real Health Podcast is brought to you by the Frederick Podcast Network, found on listenfrederick.com, along with YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes, and everywhere else that you can find podcasts. Real Health Podcast is where we take all the latest information, news, articles, findings, research on the latest in health and wellness, and we bring it to you from our perspective, from a drugless, non-surgical field of hoping that you won't need those things. And the purpose is to help you feel better, get stronger, live longer, and feel younger. And last time we were going to talk about an article called 4 Weird Signs You're Getting Older. We thought it'd be fun.
Yeah,
we
we
didn't have
talked too
time
long
for
about
it.
babies.
Yeah, we did. So
Sorry.
those babies are not getting older. But these babies are. So let's find out what some of those signs are. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
And you can tell everybody if you're experiencing any of these signs.
Okay.
Even though you're not getting older.
am
I didn't
not.
just say that. That was terrible.
Thank you.
You're not getting older. I'll tell you if I'm getting older. But
Your
it says
voice will change.
yeah, it's funny, right? We asked experts about what's normal and what's not. So it says it's not unusual for teeth to shift and drift as you age. And it tends to occur more in the bottom teeth than top.
Yeah, I would associate that to like bone loss.
Why bottom, not top?
That's a great question.
Weird.
Really weird.
Well, that's the article, right? 4 weird signs. That's one of them. It says common reasons include the loss of a tooth, gum disease, which can make teeth unstable.
But gum disease, is that really associated with older age, or is that like a lack of great hygiene?
I don't know. There might be some, I don't know. I think gums do get thinner, maybe a little bit. And they do lower, don't they? Don't gums like drift down, recede?
I guess, but I
Remember
don't.
we had that veterinarian here.
Yeah.
All she talked about was gums and teeth for dogs. Like, you want to keep dogs healthy,
Yeah.
you got to brush their teeth.
Not gonna happen. It's hard enough to get the kids to brush their teeth.
Hard enough to get your kids. That's right. Maybe we can teach the dog to brush his own teeth.
That would be nice.
So that's one, is teeth drifting. Second weird sign that you're getting old, your voice may change. As adults change, their vocal cords often become thinner and less supple, and they may not close as firmly.
How do you keep supple vocal cords? We need to look at that.
Well, I think if you have a podcast, you talk a lot, you keep them
Does
young.
that keep them supple?
Yeah, but I mean, are you guys telling me, has my voice changed? As a result, your voice can become weaker or raspier.
A raspy voice could be sexy.
It could certainly be. Then there's a difference between men and women. It says some men may find that as they grow older, their voices go up in pitch. So their voice becomes feminine. So
It's reverse puberty.
Exactly. Yeah. For some men, while they used to have a deep, sonorous voice, their voice may not sound that deep and full as they age.
Well, we're going to have a talk if you start talking with a higher pitch voice.
Grandma voice. Meanwhile, normal hormonal changes in older women may cause their voices to lower. So your voice will get deep and mine will go up.
We'll meet in the middle, I'm sure.
That sounds great. That's great.
You'll shrink.
Then we can just dub our voices over each other. Sean's got his hands full. Anyways, third weird sign that you're getting older.
Shrinkage.
You shrink. No, not shrinkage. That's different. Shrinkage has nothing to do with age.
Okay. I stand corrected.
Seinfeld fans can now laugh. Most people get shorter as they age, starting around the age of 40. By age 70, men will lose an average of 1 inch and women closer to 2 inches.
What?
Have you lost inches yet?
I will not claim that.
After 80, the same research suggests that they'll probably drop another inch. After 80. So was it between 80 and 90? With age, we lose bone and cartilage in the vertebrae of our spine, which can make us shorter.
I'm not going to lose it. Y'all can lose it, but
Then,
I'm not.
then it says, you know, they should talk about chiropractic because we can keep you tall.
It's New York Times. They will never talk positively about chiropractic.
You're right about that. And the abdominal and lower back muscles around the spine can weaken, making it harder to hold the spine upright. Why would they get weaker? I mean, why?
That they're taking into consideration somebody is not exercising.
They're just sitting all day. Yeah. Even the flattening of the arches of your feet over time can contribute to a loss of height. Yeah, which is why we love to check the feet when we're taking care of our patients.
Foundation is important.
Absolutely. Physically active weight-bearing exercises are important to strengthen your core and stimulate bone growth. By the way, weight training does not stimulate bone growth. The latest research shows jumping does.
Jumping.
Impact. Yeah. So you should do like 50 to 100 jumping jacks every morning.
Well, and for some of us who have had children and our pelvic floor is a little bit weaker, that can be tough. So you can come and talk to us about using the Amsala to strengthen your pelvic floor.
Right. It works like magic and takes care of stress incontinence.
Yep.
If you have noticed that you have shrunk by more than 1 inch in the last year or two, get your spine looked at. Come by, we'll take some x-rays. Now, fourth and final sign that you're weird sign that you're getting old is that your migraines will decrease.
Can we not act like everyone has migraines? That's like the most idiotic statement. I'm so sorry.
I'm done with that article.
I mean, they act like everyone has them. For the record, if you have migraines,
women,
it's not normal.
Mostly it's.
I mean, are they talking women. About like the stuff we have to deal with? Like our kids give us a migraine or a headache?
Like your husband is your headache?
I was not going to say that. But anyway, I just think that's weird.
Your husband is your migraine. All right.
Moving on.
This article got me a little upset. 10 small things neurologists wish you would do for your brain. Now,
should I prepare myself to not smack the table?
I typically respect neurologists. Sean said yes. No smacking, please. Scientists believe that as many as 45% of dementia cases could be delayed or prevented with help from some simple, sometimes surprising changes in behavior. It's never too early or too late to start, but time is of the essence when it comes to building your brain's defenses, especially since it's generally impossible to reverse brain damage once it's happened. This is from Dr. Eva Feldman, a professor of neurology at the University of Michigan's Neuroscience Institute. Number one of the 10 things, top 10 things, this sounds like David Letterman, top 10 ways to keep your brain healthy, but he starts with number one, not number 10. We should usually go backwards, but number one is wear a helmet, and that's to prevent brain trauma. It's very, so I was expecting something a little more deep. Wear your helmet. And avoid CTE, which is chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which can worsen cognition overall and in some cases cause dementia. Number two, another dumb one.
Put earplugs in.
Put in earplugs when you're mowing the lawn.
Oh, Lordy bid.
Like not when you're shooting, because no one shoots, right? No one goes to a firing range. Anyways, older people with hearing loss have a greater risk of developing dementia. So I don't even see the causality behind that. Anyway, scientists think it may be because the part of the brain that processes, like it's a guess, right? They're saying maybe because the part of the brain that processes hearing is close to the part responsible for memory. So like, what is it, like a contagious thing? Like, this guy gets a virus, you're within 6 feet, you can get it too. So this part of the brain
that proved to be accurate.
is close to that part of the brain. And so if that part shrinks, then this part will shrink too. I don't get it.
I don't either.
It doesn't make any sense. They're two separate functions. It's like I don't know. It's like saying if you hit your thumb with a hammer, your big toe might hurt.
Yeah.
anyways, it could be a result of atrophy. Yeah, the brain does shrink, but the whole thing does. Isn't it? I don't think parts, anyways. But he's saying if you wear earplugs when you mow the lawn, you, you don't get atrophy of your brain. People who have hearing loss tend to withdraw from social activities that could keep their minds engaged. Now, that one is very possible.
Right. But again, look at the causality. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense that, I don't know. They're just reaching. But
Yeah.
I do agree. Social interaction creates stimulation and is going to activate all sorts of centers of the brain, right? Because you're interacting with people. So
Right.
you're,
Yeah. And it says get your hearing checked. And when it gets you time to wear hearing aids, even if you lose hearing in one ear, make sure you wear a hearing aid and
wear them even when you're by yourself.
wear them even when you're alone, because ambient noise can also stimulate your brain. Like, so can a lot of things. Just stimulate your brain, guys. Earplugs when you mow the lawn.
If you adjust your toes, you stimulate your brain.
Who wrote this thing? It's a Mohana Ravindranath is the name of the author from New York Times.
Well, she also says to get your eyes checked.
Yeah. Scientists also believe vision loss is linked to cognitive decline. In 2023 study found that about a third of adults over 71 who had moderate to severe vision impairment also had dementia. Come on. I mean, it's such a reach. I don't know. It's and then she goes, use it or lose it. The brain is better at making connections and processing input for the senses that it actively uses. So use your eyes, use your ears, but wear earplugs when you mow the lawn. But ambient noise is good for you. All right. So moving on. Number 4. Let's get through this article. Take a walk and swap your chair for a stool. The neurologists know that exercise benefits the brain by increasing blood flow and ferrying oxygen to it. So you need more oxygen to your brain. This is, obviously, it's common sense. Walk half a mile, it says.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Minimize the amount of time you spend sitting. Okay. And every 20 minutes, get up and walk around. If you sit in a stool, you won't lean back. You won't, get lazy, I guess. Use stools, boxes, benches, or floor when possible when you're sitting.
I don't think that's
Okay,
valuable.
I haven't heard
information.
anything useful in this article yet.
well,
and
let's
this,
move
and this is it gets worse.
Manage
Number
your
5,
cholesterol.
Manage your cholesterol. Like, do you guys realize the brain is made up of mostly cholesterol?
Yeah, so you better manage it.
Lower it. It says low density lipoproteins or bad cholesterol. There's no such thing as bad. There's no good. There's no bad. It's just cholesterol. Cholesterol is the building block of every cell in your body.
And your body produces it.
I did a 2-hour lecture on cholesterol and the mystery of heart disease. It's on our YouTube channel. Check it out. 2 hours, but you'll learn what cholesterol really is. And listen, if you're on cholesterol medication, don't stop taking it. Talk to your doctor.
We have to say that.
Cholesterol that can come from consuming red meats. First off, listen, changing your diet will not lower your cholesterol. It never has, it never will. Because you have this like thermostat that sets your cholesterol level at where it needs to be. And so if you eat cholesterol, your liver produces less. Typically, your liver produces 70% of the cholesterol that you need, and you get 30% through your diet. But if you eat less cholesterol, your liver will just produce more. Your cholesterol level stays the same. So it's not going to go down. You can stop eating red meat all you want. Now, lowering your stress will lower your cholesterol because there's less need for stress hormones, because cholesterol is the precursor to all those stress hormones. And so your body will produce less of it when you're less stressed. And, eating well reduces your body's stress level as well. So I'm not saying they're wrong 100%. I'm just saying they're wrong about the way they're presenting this. And it says avoid dairy and sugary drinks. Now that's very true. Sugar will spike your cholesterol and it makes it sticky. And that's what causes plaquing in your arteries, which can reduce blood flow to the brain and cause, all kinds of stroke and things like that. So anyways.
Don't worry. There's another thing that's super important. Floss every day.
Yeah, number 6 is floss. Because we talked about teeth already, so now here we go again. Oral infections can spread to the sinuses and then cause brain issues.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is they only talk about flossing a bigger issue is when you have an extraction or a root canal and there's a crevice left open, which then is moist and dark,
Yeah.
which then breeds. So if everything wasn't cleared and it doesn't heal properly, which happens often, then you end up with bacteria that's growing.
Yeah. So
and
many
develop-
diseases.
Ah,
All
so
right. Floss every day to keep your brain healthy. These are neurologists.
I don't even think you need to go into detail on that.
My level of respect for these specific neurologists just went down just a bit. Then the next one is join a book club, and they talk about social interaction and being
Seems a bit repetitive.
and they said or a gardening group. Are there such things as gardening groups?
Yeah.
I know there's walking groups and
Yeah, there's
jogging
gardening
groups and
groups.
hiking groups.
Yeah. Sometimes there's even like a community garden where gardening groups come in, and or you can have your
Right,
own
they-
plot and you can garden.
Pick weeds and plant flowers.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right, well, do that because your neurologist says it's good
And
for
you're
your,
outside getting vitamin D.
it's
That's
for
helpful.
your brain. Good for your brain. Well, being outside for sure. I agree with that. It doesn't say that. Your book clubs are not outside.
No, gardening groups are though.
Well, because the heading is book club. The gardening is like a side note.
Well,
that
they
should be
definitely don't
number
want
one.
you to get too much vitamin D.
That's right.
Then you'd be healthier.
God forbid you stop needing your medications.
Mm.
Number 8, wear a mask on smoggy or smoky days. So, I mean, it says there's growing research linking air pollution exposure to cognitive decline. You want to know what air pollution looks like? When I was in Iran, there was like, first off, they hadn't taken leaded fuel off the market yet.
Right.
So all the cars ran on leaded fuel. There's no such thing as unleaded gasoline. There was, but most people needed the lead because the car engines couldn't get enough power with unleaded fuel. Like you literally would roll backwards if you're going up a hill if you used unleaded fuel. So they had to use lead. Well, this lead would get in the air. And when you're approaching Tehran from far away, because we lived in Sari up north, as we're driving towards Tehran, I would see like this orange cloud over the whole city. And it's on the other side of the mountains, Elborz mountain range. And people's kidneys were failing because there was so much lead in the air that it was making their kidneys fail. So are you making a paper airplane?
Yeah, because I don't like this last one.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's just so that was anyways, so those people might have needed to wear a mask, but this air is not, and the actual data shows that wearing a mask reduces oxygen in your blood way more because most of the time you're breathing back your carbon dioxide with these masks.
Yep.
So do your own research. I'm not going to tell you to wear a mask, and I'm not going to tell you not to wear a mask.
Well, most of us aren't living in wildfire smoke daily.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sorry, but Frederick is not smoggy.
No.
So
you're in Frederick.
So is it really a big issue for the general population that we're reading
these neurologists
to?
actually
No.
telling people when you go outside, wear a mask. You don't get much fresh air. And then the number 9, a good one here, it says watch your neck. And I got excited. I'm like, yeah, because we know as chiropractors, and we've seen all the data, there's tons of it, reduced curvature of the neck or misalignments in the neck drop blood flow to the brain drastically.
Right.
So I'm like, yes, they're right. But then,
and then you read further.
then
And then we go,
this
it
silly,
was disappointing.
silly, uneducated, uninformed woman says, avoid chiropractic adjustments to your neck. Now, how many people have been injured by chiropractic adjustments? Don't look at like mainstream media. Go to journals that are peer reviewed. And they all say there's no data correlating chiropractic adjustments to any type of arterial dissection or stroke or anything like that.
Could somebody have a rib fracture? Sure. There can be certain things, but not what they're claiming.
Millions of adjustments are delivered daily around the country. If this was an issue, chiropractic wouldn't exist anymore. I saw a data that over 7,000 people die annually from over-the-counter painkillers.
Yeah.
7,000 every year. 7,000 people die every year
Huge.
from taking painkillers. Now, I don't think anyone's ever died from chiropractic adjustment
I would be
in
very surprised to
130
see
years.
that.
But if they have, I guarantee you can count them on one hand. Millions every day being adjusted. and maybe a handful.
Well, we also let's talk about malpractice insurance, right? Because the reality is, if an insurance company can get money for anything, they will.
Right.
And a chiropractor's malpractice is somewhere in the realm, depending on if they have doctors working underneath of them, is somewhere between $900 and $1,400 annually. That's right, $900
So it's
to $1,400 annually.
less than $100 a month.
That's the same aggregate as what an ER doctor
A
has.
retired medical doctor maintains malpractice at $12,000 a year.
So do the math. Where's the risk? Right? That it just
Why
irks
does a
me.
retired medical doctor have malpractice that costs $12,000 a year versus an active chiropractor who pays less than $1,200 a year? There's no risk to chiropractic adjustments. But again, do your own research and check it out. If it was unhealthy, it would be done. Insurance wouldn't cover it. Medicare wouldn't approve it. All right, one last one. Sleep well. I agree with this one. Finding ways to improve your time spent sleeping. But then again, it's not how much you sleep, it's the quality of your sleep that's more important. You need to pay attention to that. If you work night shifts, they say use blackout curtains and shades and manage your circadian rhythm.
And what we're finding too is, do this, what we would always consider to be the silly things, right? Get yourself some amber glasses that block out the blue light. So as you're beginning to unwind at the end of the day, your body can start processing the challenges. We didn't used to have all of these fluorescent lights, and we didn't always have televisions and devices. And so our bodies could get into a natural rhythm of preparing for sleep. But with all of this technology and the change in our lights that we use in our homes, our bodies can't do what it needs to do. The melatonin that you produce in your brain is light sensitive. So you have to make sure that you're reducing some of that blue light that you're taking in so your body can begin to unwind. I grew up with insomnia. I always had trouble sleeping. And so just recently, as we started the melatonin investigation and working on increasing melatonin, especially as we're 50 or creeping up on 50, we also decided to implement that. And so the whole family now, the grandmas are wearing amber glasses.
We have these orange glasses on.
Oh, it's hilarious.
What's funny is the other day I pulled a pair of shorts out of my drawer. I'm preparing my workout clothes for the next day. It's nighttime. We're all wearing the glasses. Pull out these pair of shorts. I go, hey, honey, I think these are Navid's shorts. They're not mine. And she goes, well, no, I think they're yours. I go, I don't have shorts this color. And so we realized those were bright blue shorts, but with the glasses, they looked gray. And we're like, I don't have gray shorts that are shaped like this. So we took the glasses off. We're like, oh, yeah, they're mine.
So just be aware there are other impacts. So
And at least you know that they do block all blue.
all blue light.
All blue. Listen, I wanted to give you guys an update on a new pill that came out on weight loss, so we didn't have time for that. But we will talk about that one next time. And we'll also talk about whether eating a lot of protein is good for you in your diet. So please tune in to that one. As we mentioned earlier, we're doing shorter episodes so we can post multiple times a week.
Yep.
Hopefully that makes it easier for you to watch. So we'll be back in just a few days.
All right. We'll see you next time.
God bless. Thank you.
This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.